Now we will see Class 12 Geography Unit 5 Chapter 12 Geographical Perspective on Selected Issues and Problems Part 2. Noise pollution. Noise pollution refers to the state of unbearable and uncomfortable to human beings which is caused by noise from different sources. This matter has become a serious concern only in recent years due to a variety of technological innovations. The main source of noise pollution are various factories, mechanized constructions and demolition works and automobiles and aircraft, etc. There may be added periodical but polluting noise from sirens, loudspeakers used in various festivals, programs associated with the community activities. The level of steady noise is measured by sound level expressed in terms of decibels dB. Of all these sources, the biggest nuisance is the noise produced by traffic because its intensity and nature depend upon such factors as the type of aircraft, vehicle, train and the condition of the road as well as that the vehicle in the case of automobiles. In sea traffic, the noise pollution is confined to the harbor due to the loading and unloading activities being carried. Industries cause noise pollution but with the varying intensity depending upon the type of industries. Noise pollution is location specific and its intensity declines with the increase in the distance from the source of pollution, that is industrial areas, artifice of transportations, airports, etc. Noise pollution is hazardous in many metropolitan and big cities in India. Here, figure 12.2 noise monitoring at Panchapatmalai bauxite mine. Here they give, do you know, oceans 10 times noisier today than 40 years ago. Urban waste disposal. Urban areas are generally marked by overcrowding, congestions, inadequate facilities to support the fast growing population and consequent poor sanitary conditions and foul air. Environmental pollution by the solid wastes has now got significance because of enormous growth in the quality of wastes generated from the various sources. Solid waste refer to a variety of old and used articles. For example, stained a small piece of metals, broken glasswares, plastic containers, polythene bags, ashes, floppies, CDs, etc. dumped at different places. These discarded materials are also termed as refuse, garbage and rubbish, etc. and are disposed of from the two sources, one household or domestic establishment and two industrial or commercial establishment. The household waste is disposed of either on public lands or on private contractor sites, whereas the solid waste of industrial units are collected and disposed of through the public municipal facilities or at low laying public grounds landfill areas. The huge turnout of ashes and debris from the industries, thermal power houses and building constructions are demolishing has posed problems of serious consequences. Solid wastes cause health hazards through the creation of obnoxious smell and harboring of flies and rodents, which act as the carriers of disease like typhoid, diarrhea, diphtheria, malaria, and cholera, etc. These wastes cause them frequent noise as and when these are carelessly handled, spread by wind and splittered through the rainwater. Concentration of industrial units in and around urban centers gives rise to disposal of industrial wastes. The dumping of industrial waste to rivers leads to water pollution. River pollution from city-based industries and untreated sewage leads to serious health problems downstream. Urban waste disposal is a serious problem in India. In metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, etc., about 90% of the solid waste is collected and disposed. But in most of the other cities and towns in the country, about 30% to 50% of the waste generated or left uncollected, which is accumulated on the streets, in open spaces between the houses and in wastelands, leading to serious health hazards. These wastes should be treated as a resource and utilized for generating energy and compost. Untreated wastes fragment slowly and release the toxic biogas to the atmosphere, including methane. Here in this picture they have, I moved into the second floor from the first to get a view of the scene, and the garbage has filled up to this level, obstructing the view. Here they give the case study, a role model to restore the ecology and safeguard human health in Darola. Based on the universal law, the polluter pays effort to restore the ecology and safeguard the human health with them. People participation has taken place in Darrala near the Meerut. These efforts are now bearing fruits after the span of 3 years when Meerut-based NGO had developed a model for the ecological restoration. The meeting of the Darola industries officials, NGOs, government officials and other stockholders at Meerut has brought out results. The powerful logics, authentic studies and the pressures of the people have brought a new lease of the life to the 12,000 residents of this village. It was in the year 2003 that the pitiable conditions of the Darolatists drew the attention of the civil society. The groundwater of this village was contaminated with the heavy metals. The reason was that the untreated wastewater of Darala industries were leaching to the groundwater table. The NGO conducted a door-to-door survey of the health status of the residents and came out with the report. The organization, the village community and the people representatives sat together to find out the sustainable solution to the health problem. The industrialists showed a keen interest towards checking the deteriorating ecology. The overhead water tank's capacity in the village was enhanced and a 900-meter extra pipeline was laid to supply the potable water to the community. The slittered pond of the village was cleaned and recharged by them deslitting it. A large quantity of slit was removed, owing bay to large quantity of water so that it recharged the aquifers. Rainwater harvesting structures have been constructed at different places which has helped in distilling the contaminants of the groundwater after the monsoons. 1,000 trees have also been planted which have improved the environment. Activity. What do we throw away? Why? Where does our waste end up? Why do rapickers sort our rubbish dumps? Does it have some value? Is our urban waste worth anything? Here, figure 12.3, a view of the urban waste in Mahim, Mumbai. Rural-urban migration. The population flow from rural to urban areas is caused by many factors like high demand for the labor in urban areas, low job opportunities in rural areas, and unbalanced pattern of development between urban and rural areas. In India, population in cities is rapidly increasing due to low opportunities in smaller and medium cities. The poor people generally bypass these small cities and directly come to the mega cities for the livelihood. A case study given below. To have a better understanding of the subject, read it carefully and try to comprehend the process of rural-urban migration. Case study. Ramesh has been working in a contract as a welder on construction site in Talcher, in bracket, coal region of Orissa, for the last 2 years. He moved with the contractor to various places like Surat, Mumbai, Gandhinagar, Paraj, Jamnagar, and so on. He remits rupees 20,000 per year to his father in his native village. The remittance have been mainly used for daily consumption, healthcare, schooling of children, etc. Part of the money is also in agriculture and purchasing of land and building of houses, etc. The standard of living of Ramesh family improved significantly. 15 years ago, the situation was not the same. The family was passing through a very tough times. 3 of his brothers and their families had to survive on 3 acres of land. The family was highly in debt. Ramesh had to discontinue his studies after the 9th standard. He was further hard pressed when he got married. Simultaneously, he was also impressed by some successful out-migrants of his family, of his village, who had been working in Ludhiana and supporting their families in village by sending money and some consumers' goods. Thus, due to the abject poverty in the family, and he perceived job promises at Ludhiana. He made a move to Punjab with his friends. He worked there is a woolen factory for 6 months at the rate of only ₹20 per day in 1988. Apart from this crisis of managing his personal expenditure from this meager income, he was also facing difficulty in assimilation to the new culture and environment. Then he decided to change his place of work from the Ludhiana to Surat under the guidance of his friends. He learned the skill of welding in Surat, and after that he has been moving to different places with the same contractor. Though the economic conditions of Ramesh's family at village improved, he is bearing a pain of separation of his near and dear ones. He cannot shift them with him, as the job is temporary and transferable. Comments. In developing countries, poor, semi-illiterate and the unskilled like Ramesh migrating from the rural areas frequently end up performing the minimal jobs at low wages in the informal sectors in urban areas. Since wages are very low, to support the family at the place of destination, the Spouses are left behind in rural areas to look after the children and elderly people. Thus, the rural-urban migration stream is dominated by the males. Do you know at present 47% of the world's 6 billion population lives in the cities and more will join them in near future. This proportion is estimated to go up to 50% by 2008. That will put the pressure on the governments to make the urban areas better places to live with optimum infrastructure facilities for the desirable quality of life. By 2015, an estimated two-thirds of the world population will live in the urban areas, imposing even more pressures on the space infrastructures and resources of cities, which are manifested in terms of sanitary, health, crime problems and urban poverty. Urban population grows as a result of natural increase in bracket when birth rate exceeds the death rate. Net in migrations in bracket when people move in than out, and sometimes reclassification of urban areas to encompass formally or rural population settlements in India. It is estimated that after 1961 around 60% of the urban growth has been attributed and 29% of them from rural areas to urban migrations. Thank you. Sharing is caring. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more knowledge.